We all have a taste for the ridiculous every now and then. Why else would such a thing as a sandwich in a can exist? And yes, it's actually called a canwich. But how about when we look at video games? Developers like to have a laugh from time to time and put something in their game that truly makes us want to applaud the sheer creativity of their maniacal invention. So, without further ado, here are the 10 most ridiculous weapons in video games.
Blowing you up, maggot addicts!
Our first pick is a gun straight from the Call of Duty franchise. No, not the dual-wielded Model 1887s, preposterous as they were, but rather the wonderfully named Thunder Gun and its upgraded big brother, the Zeus Cannon. The sheer joy of blasting a horde of zombies out of the way with a single shot cannot be understated. Or, if you're feeling a bit sadistic, flinging one poor old zombie across the map in a thunderous manner. Once you finally got your hands on this gun from the lottery that is the mystery box, girlish squeals of joy would ensue as you laid waste to the zombies you once considered a worthy adversary. We also quite like the little "It's Always Sunny" reference in the name of the gun.
Everyone okay? Oh, I feel like I will throw up.
A mere side effect, Russia. Everything is normal.
Let's get this done. No! The plan was perfect. You are the most elite, private, military force in the entire world. How can you fail to kill a weak-minded child with a rope and a squirrel suit?
We know. A grappling hook? You might be thinking that doesn't sound all that ridiculous. You might be seriously questioning our grasp of the term ridiculous. Well, before you do anything, have you ever seen a man get tethered to a plane while it's taken off, dragging him helpless into the skies? No? Well, that's just a taste of what Rico's grappling hook in the Just Cause series is capable of. How about tethering a helicopter to the ground, forcing it to crash? Or tethering a helicopter to a giant tank full of gasoline, causing a near cataclysmic explosion? Or how about tethering a helicopter to a larger helicopter tethered to an airplane? You get the point. This thing is pretty ludicrous.
Good man, thank you. I didn't even go to school for this, believe it or not. Huh?
Time to go back in time a little, to a simpler era, without microtransactions, day one DLC, or state-of-the-art graphics. We are talking about the unmissable classic that is Goldeneye. We could have gone for the infamous and rage-inducing Golden Gun, but instead we went for the somewhat more zany Slapper. It's technically still a weapon, even if it's attached to the character's body. Nothing quite matches the hilarity of trying to slap someone to death in what can only be described as the world's only first-person slapping contest. Many hours were spent trying to slap your buddy without getting slapped yourself, and even more hours were spent making sure your friend didn't pick Oddjob because that was just a cheap strategy. It seems that Mark Watney from The Martian and the enemies in Ratchet & Clank have something in common. They both have a love-hate relationship with disco music. In the case of the enemies in Ratchet & Clank, the hate bit comes from the Groovitron, a weapon that is essentially a disco ball that forces everyone to start dancing until they drop. Perhaps a bit cruel, but they're digital characters, and where else are they going to find catharsis like this? Plus, it's hilarious to see all the different dance moves. The developers went through incredible lengths to animate individual moves for all the enemies in the game. From the small pawns moonwalking, to a giant fish doing the worm, to a tank breakdancing. It's truly a sight to behold. Imagine being stuck in a barren wasteland of a nuclear apocalypse, surrounded by all sorts of dangers like radiation, mutated monsters, and just people being dicks. You'd need a weapon to defend yourself. Well, look no further than the rocket launcher, made of a vacuum cleaner, a leaf blower, a fire hose nozzle, and a conductor. This wonderful piece of creativity can launch literally anything in your inventory. From silverware to empty Nuka-Cola bottles to a good old-fashioned wrench. And considering that you have bats, no one is dodging that wrench. The possibilities are truly endless. Once in a while, a game developer will have a stroke of genius, or maybe just a stroke, creating a weapon that is so epic that we can only stand in awe at the bold and pioneering creativity behind their creation. This is one of those weapons, Mr. Toots, the unicorn that farts a destructive rainbow out of its ass. Let that sink in for a minute.
That should do it.
The developer says that he fires a beam of magic and wonder, which is fairly accurate considering enemies hit by the particle beam of Mr. Toots tend to explode into rainbows. I mean, look at it. We defy you to come up with a more absurd weapon anywhere.
Here comes the cavalry.
We were looking for one gun from the Saints Row series, but honestly, it's impossible to pick just one gun that stands out for its insanity. There's the Shark-O-Matic, a gun that fires fish guts, which eventually causes a giant shark to burst out of the ground and eat the poor guy covered in the entrails. Or how about a giant purple dildo bat aptly named the Penetrator? Or the Inflator Ray, a gun that inflates its target's heads like balloons until, like balloons, they explode. Or the Black Hole Launcher, that sort of speaks for itself, really. And who could forget about the dubstep gun, a gun that literally fires explosive dubstep beats at the unsuspecting citizens of Steelport, while forcing the onlookers to break it down to the ridiculous bass drop.
Good to be the president.
Dead Rising is another one of those series where making a single choice of the most ridiculous weapon in the game is no easy task. But we can't pull that stunt twice now, can we? So we had to go with the ultimate shout on this one. There's something almost poetic about a bouquet of traffic cones strapped to a battery and a radio, launching zombies tens of feet into the air by shouting at them. Well, maybe it's not that poetic, but it really should be. Little hint too, this thing is great for completing a bunch of the in-game challenges, with its capability of flattening a horde of zombies with one shout.
Ik wil niet, prik niet.
Sick of all this senseless violence? Tired of launching things across the maps with other things? It's understandable. Not to us, but it's understandable nonetheless. Well, Hideo Kojima has got you covered. The water gun in Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain could be one of the most farcical weapons on this list, considering the cloak and dagger type of setting of the Metal Gear Solid universe. I mean, it's literally a water gun. But don't let that fool you, it's actually incredibly useful if you use it right. For example, see some enemies enjoying the warmth of a campfire? Well, now they're cold. Or how about some high-tech electronics that the bad guys use to track you? Consider it all destroyed. Need to threaten a passing guard to make him talk? Look no further than a good old water gun. If you're feeling really gutsy, you can even shoot the guard, causing him to squint for a moment as he wipes the water and shock off his face. And last but certainly not least is the simply named Cat Gun. Similar in a way to Mr. Toots in the fact that the player fires an animal at people. However, this time the bullets come out the front and they're in the shape of hearts, which are an insta-kill to anyone who happens to be caught in front of this adorable kitty. What if I run out of ammo, we hear you ask? Simply pet the cat and it'll happily start firing love-shaped mayhem at your enemies once again. Just look at how adorable that reload animation is.
Tango down. Tango down.
And those are our 10 most ridiculous weapons in video games. Know any other wacky weapons we may have missed? Leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more ways to kill some time at work with ZoominGames.